Honest is a strong word, and we all need honesty when it comes to plumbing and HVAC needs. Somebody who will take care of the repairs efficiently and with quality. Honest Plumbing and Air is who I trust, and they take pride in that word. Honest Plumbing and Air, where a handshake still means something.
Halliburton up top. Nembhard fakes. Kicks it out, stolen by SGA. 2-on-1. Gilgeous-Alexander, layup is good, and a foul.
All right, I had a goal when I entered the TV career of not being a fan of any program I ever covered. When I was in Oklahoma City, the third stop of my TV media career, it was perhaps I had the most fun. We got to cover an NBA team that was there temporarily. Then a team from Seattle left all that history and became the Oklahoma City Thunder. In year 4, they went to the finals. And now, I had left that year, and I have been in Austin, Texas since then and wrapped up that career. But there are two guys who I worked extensively with since the inception of the Thunder, and they're back in the finals. It took 13 years, but they've been very, very much a team that has been one that has been around the postseason a lot and has determined who becomes this champion. Oklahoma City in the NBA Finals again, and an Oklahoma City reunion. Let's talk about it.
Who gon' stop Mr. 3-5 and 0? Boy, you better call a superhero, cause when it comes to the game, ain't nobody gon' stop. But we the big willies, how you gon' block the trucks? Yes, we got it pop as soon as we pop up. So get slammed on by Serge Ibaka. Westbrook beat Fowler.
All right. I think people who know me know that I have a little bias toward that guy that wore 0, Russell Westbrook. He's no longer with the Thunder. He's gone on and done great things with other franchises. But what that 3 did for Oklahoma City really established that franchise as a mainstay. It was exciting to watch, and really what created the atmosphere, laid that foundation along with other guys like Jeff Green and Kevin Durant and Nick Collison. You can go for on and on and on. In a city that I dearly love, and I have great friends, and it's right there, a 1A, 1B, or share 1A with Austin, Texas. But before I introduce you to the guys that I worked alongside with and covered that great franchise, be sure to follow us on each of our social media platforms, Facebook, IG, X, YouTube, and TikTok. And, with the economy and the state that it is, things that are free are few and far between. You can subscribe to our YouTube page for free. And that is the most beautiful thing. So what you just saw was a flashback to 2012. And that was a rap artist from Oklahoma City, young star, gave flashbacks, actually did a live shot with that guy the week of the NBA Finals in 2012. And it feels like that wasn't long ago. I just had a few more hair follicles. And that was such a great time. It was an eye-opening experience for me. And you know what else would be eye-opening? If you go this summer without having your HVAC serviced, we're about to hit triple digits for almost every day. I had no power for 2 consecutive days because of a thunderstorm. Oklahomans know all about that. And it was 90 degrees and I was miserable. I lost all my stuff in my freezer. So call our guys at Honest Plumbing and Air before you run into that, because 100 plus degrees and 80% humidity is not the route to go. Hey, enough of looking at my head. I want to introduce you to 2 guys who have really made a lasting impression with me because we worked alongside each other. We got to cover the Thunder, but the best part about them, they're friends for life. They're Okies. And for you Texans, don't hold that against them. All right, we're going to call this a Fox 25 OKC reunion. On the bottom was my former boss, the Myron Patton. Curtis Fitzpatrick on the top right next to me, both these guys have done great things, won awards. Myron's in a Hall of Fame in Oklahoma City. Both sports talk radio show hosts. Did you ever think that when we all parted, or I parted, to go across that mighty Red River in 2012, that we would have a reunion on a podcast, Myron?
Not really. Not really. I'm just proud of myself. I could actually figure out how to get on camera.
Hey, we're so proud of you.
I'll be honest with you. But I'm here.
Curtis, this is modern day. Everyday occurrence, and for us to evolve with the technology, I think that's saying something.
I'm also proud Myron figured out how to get that camera on.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. I was like, gosh, what do I do with this? Okay. I just talk, man. When they play music, I come talk. You know, that's how it works. Everybody else does all the technical stuff.
No, this is cool, man. Like, I don't know when the last time is. I mean, probably your last day on the air, Sean. It was your last day on a Sunday night. We did this show, Fox 25 Sports.
Traber was there.
Jim Traber was there with us, yeah. But I think that was your last night. Yeah. So that would have been the last time we were all three on the air together.
It was the last week of November in 2012.
Hey, they back in Stillwater, man. I go to Stillwater for a game or some football game. The ladies that serve the food and stuff, they always ask about Sean.
I love the Stillwater mama. I love her. Kathy Rushmore.
Yeah, they ask about you all the time.
She's a fine American. I tell you what, for those of you who have any ill feelings toward the state of Oklahoma, squash it. Keep it, for that day and that October day in Dallas, it's all right. It's okay. but man, that was a great part of my life. Great part of my life. And so many beautiful things. And, I got to experience a little bit the first few years of the Thunder. I thought the playoff atmosphere every year in that city was phenomenal. And Myron, we'll start with you. What is the buzz like in Oklahoma City as they are on the brink of potentially winning a championship? What is it? What's different now than it was when I left in 2012?
Well, they're just as loud, man. Loud City's just as loud, if not louder. And that people are excited, man. To have another. Based on the finals twice in 13 years. You talk about Durant and Westbrook, but it's as good as or better in terms of with the crowds involved. I tell you what, I've got some family from Fort Smith. My mom's one of her sisters, and they used to live down the street from Jalen Williams. And Arkansas Jalen Williams, okay,
the other
6'9" one, yeah. And they're talking about coming up. They want to come up for some games just to watch games here. They don't have tickets for the games, just to be a part of the atmosphere because they knew Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams for a long time. They were kids growing up. So
wow,
it is amazing how charged people are about this team and what they've been able to do so far.
Curtis, you and I and Myron and even Liam McHugh back in the day when Seattle, the ownership changed with Clay Bennett and the late Aubrey McClendon, they hired Sam Presti, who's a mastermind he has like 425 draft picks stored away in a safe somewhere. But how he rebuilt that, I'm blown away. What is it? When you see what he's done, did you guys see the vision that he saw when he blew up the team when Russell left?
Yeah, listen, did I think they could get back to where they are right now? In the back of my mind, I thought, well, maybe someday. I did not think it would be this soon because in reality, for us having this discussion with you involved, Sean, it's like, okay, 2012, they got there 13 years later. But it felt longer when you went through those really down years. But in reality, it's not that long. It's 13 years. We've had NBA basketball for 17 years. Myron's seen a lot of NBA basketball over the years.
Yeah.
And you think about all the playoff runs they've had, now getting to the finals twice, having three different guys be MVP, countless other all-stars, Hall of Fame guys that have come through here in a 17-year period. you add all that up, most cities, if you said, would you take that resume, they say, sign me up. So we've been very fortunate, but man, Myron's right. Like the buzz is everywhere, and I think, Myron, you might agree with this. I think it means what's different this time, fans have seen, I think, the NBA circle of life now, because you got the team. They're bad, but everybody's euphoric because it didn't matter. Hey, we got an NBA team. Then they immediately get to the playoffs the next year.
Yeah.
Then they, Western Finals, NBA Finals. Then they're competitive, even though they trade James Harden. They're competitive. They almost got to the NBA Finals again in 2016. Right. Should have up 3-1.
Woo.
And then
horrible.
So then you had that experience, and then your superstar cornerstone franchise player leaves. So you've experienced the highs, the immediate lows, and then Russell Westbrook, it's euphoric again. He resigns. Then he's gone. You rebuild. You're down again. All of it to get back to where they are. So in my mind, I feel like the appreciation for this team now is much greater than it was in 2012, because I think back then, I think we all thought they're going to be here several years, and they never got back. So I think that's what's different this time.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think you look, when they didn't win, they lost to Miami in 2012, 4-1 in the NBA Finals. It was a young team, kind of like what they've got right now. And a lot of people assumed they would get back. Well, circumstances happened. Russell next year, knee injury in the first round against the Rockets. They won that series, but they lose the second round to Memphis. Bottom line, they never got back. They went to 4 Western Conference Finals. They lose to Golden State, blowing the 3-1 series lead. So I think people are more NBA savvy, and I know me personally, because I like to educate people, especially the outside world, how good this team has been for the majority of 17 years. They, missed the playoffs the first year there, and then the next year they get 50 wins, and they're an 8th seed, by the way. 50 wins in the West gets you an 8th seed. They lose to the Lakers in a 6-game series. But even after Durant left, a lot of teams, a lot of franchises would have kind of bottomed out, not be very good. Well, they still went to the playoffs 5 straight years. And Russell and teaming with different guys. Just trying to, whether it's Paul George or trade, which led to SGA. But before that, you had Victor Oladipo and Domantas Sabonis. They found ways to bring different guys in, Carmelo Anthony, to try to stay in the hunt, stay in the mix. And even though they didn't win, they didn't bottom out either. And so they basically, bottoming out was basically 2 years, a 22-win season, a 24-win season, 41 wins, play in, losing the second play, and then they basically went from 24 to 41 to 57 to 68 NBA Finals right now. It's an amazing ladder they went in about a 3 or 4 year period.
And I just saw that they've extended as far as to keep the Thunder, the documented. What was it? Is it Governor Stitt or Mayor Holt?
David Holt, yeah, Mayor Holt,
who is so visible with this Thunder craze on social media. I never had a chance to get to know him. He was, Cornette was still around, very visible, but there's a new arena on the horizon. I still remember it as Thunder Alley on Reno. So I'm trying it's going to be really weird. So I'm hoping to get up there for what would be a celebratory parade. So people are watching this. This is game day. This is at lunchtime. If you're watching this live, and this is like an appetizer for tonight's Game 6. Myron, when you look at this, and Curtis both, OKC has the edge right now, the momentum. But Indiana's, I'm going to be honest, I have underestimated that group. They match up well with OKC.
It's been the series, a lot of people, Thunder were a heavy favorite, and they're up 3-2. but it's been a very competitive series. I mean, every game has, they've won 3, but they haven't run away from by any stretch of the imagination. And you're right, Indiana has more than shown that they were overlooked the way they played. They really got hot in January. And the thing about them, from an offensive standpoint, virtually at all times, they got 5 guys on the floor that can score. And they're going to pick up the pace. They guard you the full court. And, they really force – and both teams have done this. Both coaching staffs have had to kind of come up with some things to deal with what the other's doing to them. So it's been a really good series to watch, whether you're a fan of either team. I think if you like basketball, the game's been close, competitive, and decided down the stretch. So it's been a great final. It really has.
Curtis, we've seen players get injured, but when you see a guy that is impactful as Tyrese Halliburton for Indiana, should Thunder fans be cautiously optimistic or that he will be limited, or do you expect what elimination games playing for a championship for an athlete does? That's an adrenaline rush. You can wrap that bad boy several times, maybe. Well, what do you expect here? I don't remember the injury. I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, it's a calf injury, but he's had other injuries on that same leg, and that one just was another one. And I mean, we're no doctors here, but we've watched enough athletes go through injuries, and when you hear about, all right, the calf could maybe lead to something worse, or sometimes you overcompensate, and then one thing leads to another. So there's no definitive. You can't just say, oh, well, that could lead to a blown Achilles someday. But they got to be cautious with him. I think from what I've experienced, Myron, maybe you've experienced the same thing. Talking to people either on the radio or just out and about at my son's baseball games, everybody expects Tyrese Halliburton to play.
Yeah.
How effective he's going to be, I don't know. Aaron Gordon he played with basically what looked like a torn hamstring against the Thunder in Game 7 for the Nuggets. Nobody thought he was going to play. Came out, started, hit a couple threes, but then was pretty much useless after that. In your mind, you start thinking, well, if Halliburton plays, how effective is he going to be? I think the difference in this game for Halliburton versus like an Aaron Gordon, this game's in Indiana. That crowd's going to be juiced. They're desperate. They everything's in front of them, and if they lose, their season's over.
Yeah.
Maybe if Halliburton just gives them a couple minutes at the beginning, but just lifts the environment a little bit. I mean, that's kind of like Willis Reed type stuff, That's the kind of thing you got to watch out for if you're the Thunder. You can't assume Halliburton's not going to be effective, because if his effectiveness, if it's not tangible, could be an intangible aspect that affects the rest of the team, the crowd. And we saw in the last game, if you watch that last game, when Halliburton was out, they bring T.J. McConnell in.
Yes.
Thunder had no answer for him, none. And they're capable. If you're saying, are they capable of putting it together for one game without 100% Tyrese Halliburton and beating the Thunder? They absolutely could.
Myron, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you mentioned McConnell, and of course he drove everybody nuts that third quarter. He scores 13 points, goes 6 of 7. And I think Halliburton is going to try to play first off, but if he didn't play, there's a line of thought. You bring McConnell to start, but I wonder, would they say, let's start maybe Benedict Mathurin, leave McConnell in his normal off the bench role, and start there with Mathurin had 27 in Game 3. Didn't now. Game 4 he was bad, or whatever. But was he? Yeah, Game 5 I guess he was bad. But would they go that way as well? But I expect Halliburton to give it a go, even if he's not able to stay, because it's the finals. I'm like you, Curtis. I wonder about the Achilles and all that, because that's Kevin Durant back when he tore his Achilles. He had a calf injury, and then his Achilles popped or whatever. So I wonder about that, but. It's the finals. I'll bet he'll do anything possible to get out there and play.
I agree. It's not often, because you never know when you get that chance again to play for a championship. And between the three of us and these knowledgeable fans and those watching, we know there's something different. You magically are feeling good. either a special shoe, a boot, a good tape job. Hey, shout out to all athletic trainers at every level. They do miracle work at every level of sports. But you mentioned Jalen Williams, the one from Arkansas. The other Jalen Williams, pretty amazing what he did the last game. I mean, he has had some criticism, but this guy put on a freaking clinic in Game 5. All right, what
he hit three. Fun. Yeah, he did everything. He dunked. He hit threes. He hit big shots when they were making a run the fourth quarter. Indiana, he had some big shots to help stave off that run, and really kind of he's picked up. He's had the last 3 games he scored 26, 27, and 40 points, and it's just the 4th time this season that both he and Shea have had at least 30 points in the same game. So he's picked up his game quite a bit. And as big as the year has been for Shea for the obvious reason, MVP and all that kind of stuff. Well, Jalen made his first All-Star game, made his first All-NBA team, first All-Defensive team, and now he's doing the finals. It's been a big stepping stone season for him as well.
Curtis, think about it. This is a part of that Jalen Williams. There's so many young talents that they interchange like a game of chess, but this Jalen Williams, unreal. I mean, his role he's played, I mean, he received criticism. It does remind me when Russ, KD, and Harden, just how these guys carried themselves when they were all young. They were kids. And they didn't know. Yeah. Just on the scene, they're winning like this.
Yeah, and he's awesome. And he's getting better. He's only in his 3rd year. And he's a guy who lightly recruited out of high school, not rated at all, grew when he got to Santa Clara, spent more time in college than a lot of the one and dones that you hear about.
Yeah.
So he's kind of gone a different path to get here, but man, for the Thunder, Sam Presti to identify him, get him in the lottery with, by the way, one of the Clippers picks they got in the Paul George trade. So the same draft, Sean, they got Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams and the other Jalen Williams. For them to hit that home run, that's one of the best. Sam Presti's made a lot of good picks over the years. If you just identify where he was drafted and what the production is, my goodness, this could end up being the best draft pick he's ever had. Obviously, Durant, Westbrook, Harden were all MVPs. Serge Ibaka was a great pick. I mean, Domantas Sabonis basically was Sam's draft pick. They arranged a draft night trade. He's gone on to All-Stars. But this guy, for him to be the 12th pick in the draft and to play his way in the 3rd year into an All-Star team, 3rd team All-NBA, 40-point game in the finals. I mean, it's not going to happen, but there's been talk of, hey, maybe Jalen Williams should get a couple votes for finals MVP. Which, I mean, that's amazing. You have the MVP on your team, but that's the kind of production he's had. He's amazing. And listen, I mean, Myron, you can speak to this too. These guys, they seem like really good dudes, and I don't want to rewrite history from the previous trio, but there might have been some egos involved, and so far I've seen none of that from this group.
I think that's a good point. They all are. I mean, one thing that, and of course, this is a media deal, but I think fans will probably appreciate this. When you ask them a question, they actually think about the answer that they're going to give you. They don't just give you like pat answers. They will sometimes pause and think about what you just asked them and give you their honest thoughts on something. And I think this kind of goes in the chemistry that they have amongst themselves in terms of, whether it's Shea, but it's A.J. Mitchell, the 2nd-round rookie out of Cal Santa Barbara. I mean, he holds as much weight as Jalen does. I mean, they all really have a good chemistry together, and you got to be able to play, certainly, but they've done a really good job. I'm talking front office of drafting guys or trading for guys in case of Caruso and guys like that, or that really fit what they're trying to present and a culture that they built. And I think that's a big part of why they win as well, because sometimes guys are not going to play. I mean, Jalen Williams, Arkansas Jalen, Jay Will, he played big in the Denver series. Not so much in this series, you know, but he's one of the voices that's talking in the huddles and everything else. And so they've got a really good chemistry, which I think is one of the big reasons why they're able to win. And there's not a lot of petty jealousies going on that maybe you see on some other teams.
I got to say, Caruso, another great acquisition, a little older compared to the rest of this team. And I want to call him the glue guy. Is that fair, Curtis?
He's awesome, Sean. I know he's an Aggie. And listen,
I can look past that.
I know how that.
He lives in Austin, though.
He does.
And I think my co-host sold him his house.
Okay.
We need to get him on, Sean.
Yeah,
right now.
That's
Grew up in
job.
College Station, but now lives in Austin. So that's pretty good.
I mean, hey, Sean, you've got an Aggie and Caruso in this series. You got a Longhorn and Miles Turner.
Yep.
I mean, you're covering it all, man.
It's beautiful. This is a beautiful thing. The only thing missing is us together in the flesh, which will happen. And you know, before we take a quick break, we gotta continue a stories inside the man cave tradition. I think you guys will love it. And there's been some legendary man cave stories. We'll begin with my boy, Myron Patton. He was, I think, now you guys can go whatever direction you'd like. These are usually stories which were amusing when they happen, and they're just as amusing now when you tell them. Myron, you could go back as far as when we all three worked together, if you remember any stories or anything involving covering the Thunder.
You know what? I remember one. It's a football Saturday, and OSU's playing. And often, you know, you guys go cover the game. I'll go to the game and watch, but I'll leave early because I got to get back and produce a show. Yeah. And you guys stayed in Stillwater, and I'm there working on the show. And you walked in, and you said, "Man, you're not going to believe what happened. I can't believe it." I'm like, "What happened?" "Mike Gundy. I'm a man. I'm 40. I was, what are you talking about? He just went off for like 6 or 7 minutes. He got mad at a reporter, and he just went off. And so I listened to the tape, and I'm like, and it must have been like, I don't know, a good 3 or 4 minutes. And I said, "We're running it all. We're not cutting up anything."
No highlights of the win against Tech.
Yeah, against Texas Tech, exactly right. And so I'm like, we're running the whole thing. And it was like, it's one of the classic, I mean, ESPN pulls it out anytime they can to play it, whatever. But you guys, I didn't see it live because I left early, but you had a great shot of it, Sean, and we'll blast audio.
I'm a man.
I'm 40.
I'm a mother of children.
Bobby Reed. He was taking
Bobby
up
Reed.
That's right. That's right.
Bobby Reed's a fine American. He didn't deserve that. Curtis, what comes to mind for you?
Sean, the second I start talking about this, you're going to know where I'm going here. So Sean and I, Myron, were at Big 12 Media Days in Dallas. And you know, we're shooting, we're covering the event, we're shooting stories, you know, for your Austin listenership, and we're doing stories typically on OU and OSU. So OU, I think, was the last day. We shot a story, but we need to get it back on the air.
Oh, no.
And we didn't have a hotel room. I had to go on the radio the next morning. We started at 5 a.m. Sean and I were having trouble with the old equipment they gave us at Fox 25, by the way.
Yeah.
It was
Old
not the
equipment?
best.
Really?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we're trying at the hotel. Nothing's working. It's not connected. Let's get down the road. We'll try it in the car. We had, you know, some kind of 5G connection. Well, that was a piece of junk too. So we're like, well, let's pull off at the nearest Starbucks. They have free Wi-Fi. We
In
tried.
Fort Worth.
in Fort Worth. So, but we have to get this video back through the internet or what's called an FTP connection to Myron so he can air it for the newscast that night. And what should have taken, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, took about 6 hours. Sean and I are sitting at Starbucks. Finally, somehow somehow it worked out. We got it there. It was like an old dial-up connection because we had old dial-up equipment. Myron, somehow, I assume you got it on the air, Myron.
I got it on the air. I remember that. All right,
so somehow you get it. Well, then Sean and I were like, we got to get going. I got to go to work. And we're driving, Myron, and we're hitting construction and accidents. And, I mean, I'm 3 hours away from going on the air the next morning. This is how long it took. We missed the newscast, all that stuff. And Sean and I are driving. We're both tired. We're like, dude, we got to pull over. Take a nap. The nearest exit was the Gene Autry, Oklahoma exit. We found whatever truck stop, God love those people, was there. And that was the night I spent sleeping with Sean Clinch in the car for 2 hours.
Wow. You sure
for 2
you want to
hours
talk about that?
In a Subaru.
Right. And then I had to get up. We had 2 hours, go straight to the radio show. That was quite a night.
You were the big spoon in the Subaru.
I don't know about that. We had to get some shut eye. We weren't going to make it.
There's a lot of stories that we told. Because first off, in those days, getting video back was a little bit hard. Some of the things you have to do to get stories back, was pretty entertaining stuff.
Remember Baylor in 2008?
Baylor 2008.
And Wake at Old Floyd Casey Stadium. That was
Oh yeah. I remember that. I remember where we were covering the Big 12 basketball tournament. And I had talked a lady at CNN. I had talked her into allowing us to feedback on what was the tab called? Special something. I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
Basically, it was free, but we had to go to the Fox station in Kansas City.
Yes.
And we go there, and we had to knock on the door. And this old guy comes out. He has to string this cable back from master control, which is where everything is run. People, that's kind of the brains of a TV station. This long black cord and hook it up. And in all these cases, you just barely get the stuff back. And it was like, it was, I mean, the things you would do to get video back was just amazing.
Unreal.
I mean, I don't know. It's just some stuff that goes on that, the things you would have to do to
behind the
who
scenes.
you have to talk to, who you'd have to, grease their palm a little bit, say good things about them,
Yeah.
I do remember having some issues in Memphis, and during that 2011 run, you and I both trying to get packages or stories back, and it took a little while from that hotel, but not as bad as Baylor and everything else.
How about here's one. We're in Washington covering OU Washington football for Seattle, and for some reason, the flight they booked me on, something screwed up, and they wouldn't take my ticket. And so I had all the video. One of us had to get back because we had all the video and all the stories about OU beating Seattle. I said, well, Sean, you got to get back. So Sean flew back. I had to fly back on standby. And it was like every stop I went from we made to Denver together.
Yeah.
Which is a hub. I went from Denver to Phoenix to St. Louis, St. Louis to Dallas to Oklahoma City. And if you've ever flown standby, it was like you don't really know if you're going to stay on the flight or not, because you're sitting there until they close the door. At any moment, they might say, "Sorry, sir, you got to get up. This is so and so seat." And so I'm at every stop. I'm saying, well, I could sleep there. It's like in the terminal. I'm thinking where I could crash. And then when I get on the plane, I'm like, close the door, close the door, close the door.
Close that door.
I think I got back like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I do remember this because I had to do the Sunday show. The other thing about that trip to Seattle, if you remember, one of the pins that engage these, so those cameras have big block batteries. The pin engaging with the camera fell off somewhere on the plane. So we had no power. I shot nothing. I had to borrow a battery from a Seattle affiliate.
Yeah.
I got the second half.
Matter of fact, we barely got on that Friday before for a live shot, right before it was, just barely got on out in front of the stadium.
Oh, it was.
That was a beautiful place.
Beautiful. Husky Stadium. The Puget Sound, I guess it is right there. Beautiful. Yeah. We didn't have time to go eat at the fish market, but we saw it.
We saw it. We were there.
We had a couple hours rest. Beautiful, man. We got a lot of stories, but I love these guys. These are Fox bros for life. But we're going to take a quick break, and on the other side, it's real quick. And I lied to these guys. We were going to have a 30-minute episode, but on the other side, we're going to talk a little bit and kind of paint the picture of how amazing Oklahoma City Thunder home games really are. That's on the other side. The Saxton name resonates in Austin. Jim's late father, James Saxton, is a Longhorn legend, a Heisman finalist while playing for Darrell K. Royal. And Jimmy is a UT football legacy from Westlake. He has been insuring Austin for decades. He and his staff will give you old school hospitality when servicing your insurance needs. Not going to lie, gentlemen, I missed that. Even as when we worked those games, those Thunder games, and we had seats either at the top near the roof or I'm hustling, getting pregame interviews or not even. But what is it, real quick, beginning with Myron, what is it about that crowd? Now, we've all three seen great crowds elsewhere around the NBA. Memphis was great. We know Indiana has a great fan base. Well, why is it that OKC fans, it's just different compared to the rest of the NBA?
Well, I've always felt that when the team got there, first off, it's the only professional in terms, like big league team that Oklahoma City has. And I've always felt that people took it personally to want to make it successful. It's the only thing that OU and OSU fans agree on. Yeah. If OU wins a big bowl game or a national championship, OSU fans are not happy about that. Same thing if OSU, if they win a big, go deep in the tournament in basketball or something like that, win a bowl game, OU fans aren't celebrating that either. But they all agree on the Thunder. And I've said this before. I haven't been to every arena, but I've been to most, and I haven't heard anywhere louder. And I wonder when the next morning when people have to go to work, like, it's a Wednesday game or something, they got to go to work. How can these people talk? Because they're making noise constantly before the game, during the game. Of course, NBA Finals, it's even another level. So I wonder how they talk the next morning. But it is an insane environment that the players appreciate. And even the opposing team, they recognize it's a very tough place to win. One, because the Thunder are good, but also the fans give them a great home court.
I couldn't agree more. Curtis, your take on that?
No, Myron's 100%. I've been to a couple arenas as well, even during playoffs. There's nothing like what happens here, and I think what Myron's talking about is right. Like, not only is it, you can look at OU and OSU fans coming together. It's a common bond. The city. Sean, having lived here, how much it grew when you first came here to when you left. From when you left to now, what year was it when you left, Sean?
November of 2012.
I mean, think about that, Myron. How much the city's changed in the last 13 years.
Oh, yeah.
You've had a lot of people move into the community
That's
that have no affiliation with OU or OSU because of business.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a lot of economic boom here, and that's their way to identify with the city and their new place. I mean, there's so many people that come from all walks of life that have this common bond, and the city has grown with the team. The team is part of the growth of the city, and I think that's attracted business, attracted people living here, quality of life, all that stuff. I'm sure fans of San Antonio feel that way with the Spurs. There's some, community involved. It's kind of like the Green Bay Packers. You've heard that reference in the NFL. I mean, one pro team, everybody's on board with it. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm on the radio. I mean, it's easy to say, and Myron can do the same thing. It's easy to say we want the Thunder to win, and you can be upset when they lose. If it's OU or OSU, of course you want the local teams to do well, but you also got to watch what you say every now and then.
Yeah, you can't be
you
picking
don't really have
sides.
to do that. Yeah, no, that's right. That's a good way to put it.
I love that, and it is unique. I will say, Dallas Mavericks, although passionate, nowhere close to the decibels sustained noise. American Airlines. The Spurs, it's close, very close. Houston, not a chance. There's nothing. But Memphis, Myron, that was a pretty good atmosphere there. But but OKC, very, very special place. Real quick, predictions, Myron, tonight, Game 6. What happens?
Oh, man. I'm superstitious. I believe in basketball gods. I mean, I really do. I've said all along I think the Thunder are the better team.
Right.
And before I said 6. So I guess I'll stay with that. But man, Indiana's they put up a better fight than I thought they would. If it ends in 6 tonight, it's going to be a tough 6. It's not like they won a couple games and the Thunder every one of the games they've won has been a dogfight. But I'll begrudgingly say they're going to find a way. I want them to because fans say, it'd be great if they won at home. I'm like, you better try to get it as soon as you can. If you fight tooth and nail to get tonight, and if you don't, you got Sunday. But get tonight.
Curtis?
Man, for the last week and a half, I've said this is going 7. And the Thunder somehow, at one point I was worried the Thunder going to go down 3-1, and who knows what would happen. They even it up, and I'm thinking, this is definitely going 7. I don't know how anybody's going to win on the other home court. And the Thunder took care of business in Game 5. The thing that makes me want to think Thunder in 6 now, though, is the Halliburton thing. And again, I just told you, I think Indiana can rise up and muster up, one awesome effort. My gut tells me maybe the Thunder smell what's about to happen. It's sharks in the blood in the water, the whole thing. I think they might get it done. I think it's going to be a great game. My hunch, and I'm like Myron, get it over with. Don't mess around with the home court celebration. No. You take it. Ask the people, take a time machine, go back to 2012. They'll take it any way they can get it. I think they get it done in 6 now.
Hey, man, tell me something good.
Well, hey, we've been going from the bottom to the top. I sounded like Drake for a minute. Just realized that. Curtis, there's so much negativity in this world, but a lot of positivity when you're talking about the NBA Finals and the Thunder and that wonderful city you two call home. Tell me something good, my brother.
Well, I'll tell you this, Sean. I'm just going to point it right back to you, my brother. You are maybe the most positive person I know. So I'm here to tell the audience, thankful for your friendship and always keeping a smile on your face, always a laugh from Sean. I mean, Myron can attest. The newsroom was never a dull moment when Sean Clinch walked through that door.
That is definitely true.
In many ways, many ways, more ways than I can count. There you go, Sean.
More ways you can say.
Hey,
everybody
Jeff
remembers Sean. Nobody says
That's right.
Sean Clinch. I don't remember. No, I never hear that.
No.
You have a way of making a lasting impression for sure.
I am so grateful. That's a blessing, man.
A positive thing is sports. I mean, we all do sports and grew up playing sports and everything else. And, I did news for a while. I tell people I did news, and it was actually easier than sports because a lot of people do a lot of stuff for you. But it's not nearly as much fun. So it's life or death issues. So we cover things that, although important, when you get right down to it, it's not life or death. And but it is something that we've all grown up to be able to do, and I appreciate that. And, sports entertains us and plays an important role in our lives. So for those who listen to us, you, Sean, and me, and Curtis, and everybody else, we've been lucky to do what we do.
Yeah, there's no doubt. We've had a blessed life. And you too, man, working with you guys and to this day, calling you brothers and friends, that means a lot to me, man. And I appreciate you guys being a part of this today.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And, hopefully I can clear the schedule and not to jinx anything tonight, but hopefully I get up there to either see, do I dare say it? Get up there to see Game 7 or a NBA title championship parade in Oklahoma City.
We'll save a spot on the float for you, Sean.
Oh man, please! Hey, is that burlap Speedo still? Can I wear that?
Hey, if the Thunder get another, I don't want to picture it. I can say if the Thunder get another win, fans won't care what you wear. They just want to win.
Yeah.
Hey, that's absolutely, man. So, hey, all I can say is now, because I don't really cover them, I'm not a professional media member. Thunder up. Much love to OKC and what you guys did for me and provided me a great life there, and for you, Myron, Patton, and Curtis Fitzpatrick and your families. Much love to you guys. So whenever you get a chance to talk about the OKC Thunder with a chance to win the NBA Finals, man, it's always good to talk about it.